Good morning, students. I hope you have tried to do the question answers of lesson 1. Now we shall move on to the next lesson, Old Man at the Bridge, written by Ernest Hemingway. Let us see who Ernest Hemingway is. Ernest Miller Hemingway was an American novelist, short story writer, and journalist whose simple and understanding writing was a strong influence on 20th century fiction. He has published many novels and short story collections. Here we have his one of famous story, Old Man at the Bridge. It is about a conversation between a soldier and an old man who had to leave his hometown during the Spanish Civil War. An old man with spectacles sat exhausted by the side of a road near to a pontoon bridge that crossed the river. Now the soldier got engaged in conversation with the old man. During this conversation, he came to know that the old man was worried about his animals that he had left behind in his village. The old man told the soldier that he had the charge of 2 goats, a cat, and 4 pairs of pigeons. He said that a captain had told him to leave the town and the animals because of the artillery fire. He had no family, but he expressed concern about what would happen to his animals. He said that the cat would be all right because cats could look after themselves, but he did not know what would happen to the other animals. The soldier was concerned about the old man's safety, whereas the old man was concerned about the safety of his animals. The old man told the soldier that he was 76 years old and has already walked 12 kilometers. And now he is tired that he cannot walk anymore to cross the road and catch the truck to Barcelona. But the soldier asked him to walk forward and catch the truck that is going to Barcelona. The old man thanked him, but he could not walk on. He struggles to walk forward. He was continuously expressing his concern over the fate of his animals he had left behind. The old man could not get rid of the thought about the safety of his animals. And in the end, the soldier felt pity for him and thought there was nothing to do about him, in fact. And the story deals with the theme of depression and impending death. What's the meaning impending death and depression? The depression of the old man for having left the animals whom he loved, and the impending death. He knows that he cannot walk further, and the only end is death that is going to happen to him. So we see here the writer trying to bring out the theme of repression and the impending death. The old man who engages himself in the conversation with this soldier is a fatalistic hero of the story. He is resigned to the fate as a casualty of war. He is not the person who is involved in the war, but the person who is affected by the war. So we see here the old man suffering because of the war. At the age of 76, he is forced to walk 12 kilometers and still further to walk, and the man is not able to do so. Here we see the soldier is more concerned about the old man's safety, but the old man is worried about the safety of his animals. He can't get rid of the thought of the safety of his animals. This gives him depression, the thought of his animals. When the soldier tells him that it is better to forget about his animals and move forward, he is not able to stop thinking about them. This leads to depression. At the end of the story, we see the narrator becomes the old man's. The narrator mourns the old man's impending death. That means he knows that the old man, if he doesn't walk forward and get the bus or the truck and then move to another city, he is surely going to death. That's the theme of impending death. He asks him to walk and catch a ride on a truck, but he expresses his inability to walk due to his fatigue, his tiredness. And then there was the narrator says, the soldier says, there was nothing to do about him. So we have the story here explaining the struggle that an old man undergoes during the time of Spanish Civil War. So now let us see the story. Here we have the story, Old Man at the Bridge. An old man with steel rimmed spectacles and very dusty clothes sat by the side of the road. So the old man had a steel rimmed spectacles, a spectacle with a steel frame, and very dusty cloth sat by the side of the road. So the old man with a dirty cloth and a steel rimmed spectacle sitting by the road. There was a pontoon bridge across the river. What's a pontoon bridge? A temporary floating bridge. Okay, a pontoon bridge means a temporary one, a floating one. There was a pontoon bridge across the river, and carts, trucks, and men, women, and children were crossing it. So, using this pontoon, temporary floating bridge, the people, the trucks, carts, people, and all were trying to cross from this end to the other. The mule drawn carts. What is the meaning? Mule drawn carts. The carts that is drawn by the animals staggered up the steep bank from the bridge with the soldiers helping push against the spokes of the wheels. So let's say even in the mule drawn cart staggered. What is the meaning? Staggered was moving unsteadily, was struggling to move on up the steep bank. Steep bank means high, with a steady, high, steep way from the bridge, with the soldiers helping push against the spokes of the wheels. So they were holding onto the wheel and trying to push it, helping the animal to pull the cart, because it was hard to move from one plain land to the staggering what do you say, pontoon bridge. The trucks ground up and away, heading out of it, and the peasants plodded along in the ankle deep dust. So let's see what's being told here. The trucks ground up and away, heading out of it. So the trucks and the other heavy vehicles were all trying to move onto the pontoon bridge. And the peasants plodded along in the ankle deep dust. What is the meaning? Plodded, walked slowly. So the people were walking along in the ankle deep dust. So you can imagine, ankle deep dust means almost their ankle is drowned in the thick dust. So you see here already we have seen a dusty cloth. So the man was already shabby, dusty, because of the road on which he was walking. It was a dusty way, not a tarred road. So we can make out the struggle that the people are taking to walk forward. So ankle deep dust, their ankle was almost drowned in that deep dust, and they were struggling to tread on. But the old man sat there without moving. So it's the introduction part of the story, showing the setting of the story. So this is near a pontoon bridge where people are trying to cross the river, and the struggle that the animals, carts and people are taking to cross the pontoon bridge. And in this busy place, someone is sitting quietly. Who is that? The old man sat there without moving. Why? He was too tired to go any further. It's not because he did not want to go, because he was too tired to go forward. It was my business. Here, my business means the soldier, the narrator, okay, to cross the bridge, explore the bridgehead beyond, and find out to what point the enemy had advanced. So, what was the job of the soldier, the narrator? His job was to cross the bridge and see how much the enemy had advanced. That means where the enemy has reached, whether they are closer or they can still have safety accommodation for the people who are moving from there. So his business was to see, to cross the bridge and go the other side and see how much the enemy has advanced. I did this and returned over the bridge. So he had gone there, found out what is the condition, how far the enemy has come, and then he was returning over the bridge. So that is the time he sees the old man sitting there, the carts trying to move, and the people trying to help the carts to cross the bridge, and so on. Then he saw there were not so many carts. So we already heard that the carts, the trucks, the people all were trying to cross this bridge now, and very few people on foot. So by evening, the rush was less, and then the very few people were there, and not many carts were. The old man was still there, but the old man still sat there. Where do you come from? I asked him. I here is the soldier, the narrator. He asked him, where do you come from? From San Carlos. So what name did he say? I come from the place San Carlos. He smiled and told. That was his native town. So what was his native town? San Carlos. And so it gave him pleasure to mention it, and he smiled. So when he said the name of his village, he was extremely happy, and he smiled and said that I come from San Carlos. And then that was his native village. I was taking care of animals, he explained. He just did not wait for the narrator to ask anything further. He just said, I am taking care of animals. Oh, I said, not quite understanding. He did not ask anything, and the old man is saying, I am taking care of the animals. So he did not understand much about it, but he said, oh, yes, I see, he said. Yes, he said, I stayed, you see, taking care of animals. He said, I stayed means I remained back in the village. I stayed on in the village. I did not want to come along with the others, taking care of my animals. I remained there looking after my animals. I was the last one to leave the town of San Carlos. Why was he the last one to leave the San Carlos? Because he stayed in the village in order to take care of the animals. He did not look like a shepherd nor a herdsman. So the narrator was wondering. The dress did not look like a herdsman or a shepherd. And I looked at his black, dusty clothes and his grey, dusty face and his steel rimmed spectacles. So, look at the description given about the old man. You must learn them up. See what are the descriptions. I looked at his black, dusty cloth, grey, dusty face, and steel rimmed spectacle. So, looking at him, he did not seem to be a herdsman or a shepherd. So, the narrator asked him what animals they were. So, he said they were various animals. So, who are they? He said, and he shook his head, saying that they were different kinds of animals, and he shook his head. I had to leave them. So, he was much worried about the animals he had to leave, and then he shook his head. So we shall see the rest of the lessons in the next session. Till then, go through the this chapter once again, how much I have taught you, listen to it, and then you will be able to understand the rest of it. So we shall come with the next class. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.